Denmark never relied on massive armored forces, but every tank it used reflected survival, alliance, and adaptation. This is the complete history of every tank Denmark has ever built or operated. Denmark's tank history is shaped by geography, limited manpower, and the reality of living between major powers. Rather than pursuing independent tank production, Denmark focused on importing reliable designs and integrating them into defensive doctrine. Over time, Danish armored forces evolved through foreign cooperation, Cold War necessity, and NATO standardization. Each tank tells a story, not of conquest, but of deterrence and survival. Landsverk L-180/L-181 Armored Vehicles. Before Denmark fielded true tanks, it experimented with armored vehicles. The Landsverk L-180 and L-181 were Swedish-designed armored cars used for reconnaissance and internal security. While not tanks in the traditional sense, they represented Denmark's first step toward mechanized defense. Their limited armor and armament reflected the cautious approach Denmark took toward military modernization in the interwar period. Landsverk L-120. The Landsverk L-120 was Denmark's first true tank. Lightly armored, and modestly armed, it was intended primarily for training and evaluation rather than combat. Its purpose was to introduce Danish forces to tracked armored vehicles and basic armored tactics. When Germany invaded in 1940, the L-120 was completely outmatched, highlighting Denmark's vulnerability and the limits of its pre-war defense policy. M24 Chaffee. After World War II, Denmark rebuilt its armed forces with Western support. The M24 Chaffee became Denmark's first post-war tank. Light, fast, and reliable, it was well suited for reconnaissance and rapid movement across Danish terrain. The Chaffee allowed Denmark to restore an armored capability quickly while integrating into emerging NATO structures. M41 Walker Bulldog. As Cold War tensions intensified, Denmark adopted the M41 Walker Bulldog. This light tank featured improved firepower and mobility compared to the Chaffee. Its high speed made it ideal for reconnaissance and delaying actions rather than heavy combat. The M41 reflected Denmark's emphasis on flexibility and rapid response in the face of potential Warsaw Pact aggression. Centurion, Mk3/Mk5/Mk10. The Centurion transformed Danish armored forces. Heavily armored and armed with increasingly powerful guns over time, it became the backbone of Denmark's tank units throughout much of the Cold War. Denmark operated multiple Centurion variants, upgrading them to remain effective against evolving threats. The tank's reliability and adaptability made it one of the most respected armored vehicles in Danish service. For decades, the Centurion symbolized Denmark's commitment to collective defense. Leopard 1. With NATO standardization and technological progress, Denmark transitioned to the Leopard 1. This German-designed main battle tank emphasized mobility, firepower, and crew survivability. It was lighter and faster than the Centurion while offering modern fire control systems. The Leopard 1 allowed Danish armored units to integrate seamlessly with Allied forces, reinforcing Denmark's role within NATO's northern defense strategy. Leopard 2, 2A5DK/2A7DK. The Leopard 2 represents the most advanced tank ever operated by Denmark. Featuring composite armor, a powerful 120mm gun, and advanced sensors, it brought Danish armored forces into the modern battlefield. Upgraded Danish variants improved protection and battlefield awareness, reflecting lessons learned from international operations and exercises. The Leopard 2 marked the peak of Danish tank capability. Doctrine and defense strategy. Denmark's tank doctrine has always focused on defense rather than offense. Tanks were designed to operate alongside infantry, artillery, and allied forces. The goal was to delay, disrupt, and deter, buying time for NATO reinforcements rather than achieving independent breakthroughs. Terrain, infrastructure, and alliance commitments shaped every decision. Alliance over independence. Unlike some nations, Denmark never sought to build tanks domestically. Instead, it prioritized interoperability, logistics, and training with allies. This approach reduced costs and increased effectiveness within a broader defensive framework. Danish tanks were part of a system, not standalone weapons. From early light tanks To some of the most advanced main battle tanks in the world, Denmark's armored history is one of adaptation and cooperation. Danish tanks were never meant to conquer. They were meant to protect. Each vehicle reflects a nation balancing realism, restraint, and responsibility in a dangerous world.